In 2024, 1 out of every 4 bestsellers belong to a single category. Romantasy completely dominates the market. On TikTok alone, videos under this hashtag racked up 800 million views. Getting into this genre demands massive bandwidth. We are talking about 5, 6, or sometimes 8 volumes per series, with individual installments regularly crossing the 700-page mark. Committing to a sprawling epic without checking the blueprints is expensive. You risk spending dozens of hours and over $100, only to hit a wall in Book 3 because the narrative wasn't actually built for your reading style. The problem is the label. Romantasy is an umbrella term forced over vastly different architectures. One series might focus on rigorous political world-building and military strategy, while the book right next to it on the shelf is a fast-paced mythological retelling centered entirely on a single romance. Picking your next series is a calculated temporal and psychological investment. You have to know exactly what you are buying. The addictive patterns dominating these books are highly engineered variations of ancient mythological archetypes. A brooding love interest ruling a dark domain who softens for one person is a direct inheritance from the Greek myth of Hades and Persephone. The trope of the silent protector who shows devotion entirely through sacrifice and violence mirrors the action-based bonds found in ancient epics, like the one between Achilles and Patroclus. Publishers actively blur the marketing lines here. They package young adult coming-of-age stories, explicit new adult romance, and dense high fantasy, using the exact same cover aesthetics to maximize their audience. Recognizing the specific mythological architecture buried under the cover art offers a clearer look at the story's emotional core, helping you filter through the noise of modern marketing. Map the romantasy landscape on 2x2 matrix. The horizontal axis tracks time commitment. The vertical measures tone, from light escapism to dark fantasy. The heaviest investment lives in the top right, the morally gray epic. Here, extensive political world-building precedes the main plot. In exchange for your patience, you get deep world immersion. The emotional payoff is extreme, driven by the protagonist's gradual psychological transformation through trauma. The primary trade-off here is the content rating. These ethics are often categorized as new adult, relying on highly explicit scenes and violence that push traditional genre boundaries. This explicit content carries real-world consequences. Across the U.S., several massive multi-book ethics face intense censorship efforts and institutional bans in public libraries. This specific subgenre is a high-risk, high-reward investment. It is strictly for readers with a high tolerance for slow pacing and controversial themes. Let's look at a different high time commitment, sitting roughly midway up the tone scale on our matrix, the political intrigue heavyweight. Here, the romance is actively subordinated to the world-scale conflict. Characters prioritize strategic alliances, military movements, and betrayals over their own relationships. If you open one of these expecting rapid relationship development and immediate physical tension, you will end up incredibly frustrated. Now contrast that with the polar opposite on our matrix, fast-track escapism standalones. These are finite, single-volume stories. They bypass the complex politics to focus directly on rapid, highly effective tropes, like the captive bride trapped in a castle, or a magical trickster making a dangerous bargain. The trade-off is clear. You sacrifice deep, multi-book lore and complex geography so you can consume a complete, satisfying narrative arc in a single weekend. Choosing between these two quadrants is a direct transaction. You trade the depth of the fictional world for the speed of the romantic payoff. We have one final quadrant to map, the Kindle Unlimited ecosystem, located in the low-time, high-romance sector. This comparative chart shows the economic appeal. Instead of paying $15 for a paperback, readers access a massive library through a flat monthly subscription. Readers gain rapid delivery of fan-favorite tropes, but they must accept lower literary polish and far less editorial oversight. The narrative structures in this tier do not rely on complex world-building. Entire novels are engineered solely around forced character proximity and escalating romantic tension. This economic model serves as a high-yield, zero-risk delivery system for pure trope satisfaction. These subgenres rely on tropes like the soul bond, a device that turns the abstract feeling of connection into a physical, binding force. They almost all require the protagonist to cross a dark forest threshold, a mysterious, threatening border where the ordinary world ends and transformation begins. These narrative thresholds map directly onto classic psychoanalytic theories, like Carl Jung's concept of confronting the unconscious mind to discover hidden aspects of the self. Identifying exactly which psychological trigger you actually crave, whether it's the loss of control, the assumption of power, or the demand for protection, is the prerequisite for choosing your next series. By using these mythological archetypes, the genre provides a structured way to confront internal struggles through the lens of fate, sacrifice, and identity. This flowchart presents our final decision tree. To select a series, route your choice through your personal constraints. If you are the time-poor optimizer seeking mythological tropes without the multi-year commitment, follow this path to a standalone captive bride narrative. If you're the budget-conscious binge reader wanting high-tension fae court dynamics without traditional publishing costs, route directly to the high-spice subscription model. If you're the world-building veteran willing to endure massive page counts for the ultimate slow-burn payoff, commit to the epic multi-book dark fantasy. Matching a book's specific architectural blueprint to your personal reading bandwidth is the only way to guarantee a massive emotional return on your investment.